Welcome to Democracy-ish. I'm Danielle Moody.
And I'm Wajatali, and after 11 months of Donald Trump, I look like this. This is also the face of a man who got in at 7 a.m. from a red-eye flight from the West Coast. And then I messaged Danielle. I'm like, Danielle, can we do it at 1 p.m., 2 p.m.? I didn't hear from her. I'm like, Danielle wants to do it at 12. Okay, we will do it at 12.
Poor thing. Everyone give Waj a round of applause because Danielle tried to go to bed very early and turned off her phone at 9:30. And still, because I have not been sleeping well. And so I missed Waj's notes until guess what? This morning when he already said, I guess I'll see you at 12.
But we're here. We're here, damn it. Because Donald Trump, Danielle, we keep the receipts. And this is a show today where we feel like it's been like almost 11 months, 10 months, something like that.
It's 10 because 12 months will be January.
Oh yeah. So Waj looks like sleepwalking. It's okay. This is how I always look. That's the sad part. Even if I slept 12 hours, I would look like this. We have brought the receipts. We have Trump's promises. What he said he would deliver. Everything that he said would happen if you were to elect him, a convicted criminal, to the White House yet again. And now we have enough of, as they would say, evidence and track record to compare and contrast, Danielle, his accomplishments with his and MAGA's promises.
Yeah.
Drum roll, please.
I mean, I think that it makes a lot of sense. So here's Donald Trump. This is on the campaign trail in 2024. Trump, when I win, I will immediately bring prices down, starting on day one. On day one, prices didn't go up, but they sure went up about 2 weeks after he took office when he began his tariff wars. This is Alex Jones, who posted back in 2020. Again, this is, this was January 2025. Trump pledges to cut taxes, slash regulations, raise wages, and boost incomes. America is back. I don't think that they really know what they mean when they say America is back, like in the back of the line, in the back of the room, in the back of the bus. I don't know what they mean, but I want to show. Let me see if I was able. No, I wasn't able to pull this video. But I want you guys to look at the picture of the cars, the line. And what this is a massive line of federal employees, contractors at a food bank in Northern Virginia. And that's where you are, Waj, right? And they are about to run out just over an hour. They are an hour into distribution. Someone said it took me 10 minutes to walk the full line. Was in a car with a woman who teared up after hearing this. She took it off, but was shocked. And this woman, I'm sure, was being absolutely lovely, welcoming people. This is Trump's America. These are federal workers. And for folks who I see on threads, Waj, I see this all the time with folks being like, well, maybe it'll be good because they'll learn how the other half lives. And I'm like, are you not understanding that public servants make no money, right? They do the job because, one, they want to be a part of the solution in this country. They are public. We call it public servants because they are there to serve the public, not to serve themselves. They could make more money in the private sector, but they choose to work for government because they want to be a part of making this country actually good. Right? And so when folks say like, oh, well, now they'll understand how the other half lives. These are people that are not wealthy people that also can't afford to miss a paycheck, let alone a month's worth of paycheck. So I pass to you, Waj.
I am in the DMV. I'm in Virginia. And folks, as you can imagine, so many people here in some way, shape or form depend upon the government for employment or their contractors. The government is shut down. The government is shut down because Donald Trump and Republicans refused to release the Epstein files. Let's just be honest about it. Mike Johnson, super Christian, has nothing on the docket. There are no plans to open up this government in the month of October. In fact, I would not be surprised if they keep the government shut down throughout the end of the year. Why not? Who's going to stop them? Food stamps running out, WIC running out. Thousands of government employees, they have decided not to give them their wages. So these government employees are not only not going to work to, help run the government, but also they're not getting paid. If you're not getting paid, the government shut down. There's no food stamps. There's no WIC. And you're already not that wealthy. Folks, they're not that wealthy. I have friends in the government. They forfeit money to go work for the government. And then, they're like, all right, well, once I get out, maybe I can use that experience and go in the private sector. Or some of them just retire and they get their benefits. As this is happening, folks, as Daniel already told you, inflation, high. The cost of living, we'll get into that, higher. The American passport, you'll see, worth nothing. So what are people going to do? And as this is happening, Danielle, and some people say, well, now they know how the other half lives. Not really. It doesn't work like that, folks. The top 1% in America now make as much as the entire middle class. Let me say that again. The top 1% make as much as the entire middle class. The top 10% are the only ones spending. Everyone else has held back. So, we used to say the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Oh, no. Now, the rich get richer and everybody gets poor in the United States of America, which is exactly the plan of the oligarchy and the eugenicists who want to keep us all dumb, tired, exhausted, uneducated. And guess what? If we get desperate and do crimes, there's a whole bunch of detention centers and private prisons that need to be filled up, Danielle.
So here's the thing that I, have said before, and I've started to see people on social media saying the same thing. This is the final stage of the coup. The government shutdown was a part of Project 2025, right? When the government is shut down, they can lay off as many people as they want, right? In this government shutdown, folks, there are like 900,000 people that are furloughed.
Yep.
In other government shutdowns, even Trump's last government shutdown, it was about half of that, right? Like maybe 350,000 people were furloughed. The whole entire point is to gut the rest of the government out, to fire tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, and to have a shell of a government with no one looking over your shoulder, with no one holding the receipts, so that these grifters, these robber barons, can rob this country blind. And so we look today, right? And I know that we're going to get to this. But here's another example. This is in Texas, in Houston. Sarah McGee for Texas HD132 wrote this. All the times I volunteered at the Houston Food Bank, I've never seen this message. It's time to step up. I'm signed up for next Sunday. I'll put the link in the first of my comments. If you've never volunteered at the Houston Food Bank, you will immediately be impacted by this organization. Look at what the Houston Food Bank has written. Due to high call volumes, please use our Find Food for Immediate Food Assistance map. Find Food map. Folks, I just want that to settle into your spirit for a minute. That in America, as Gus wrote in the chat, why is it that the wealthiest, most abundant country in the world, supposedly, right? Because I truly just believe that America has the best PR. But why is it that the most abundant country that Gus said, why do we have food banks at all? And I said, because America is actually not, America looks at the wrong wealth. They look at the top 1%. They look at the material wealth. To me, a wealthy country would be no food banks, no unhoused shelters, because we have so many empty commercial buildings in this country, buildings that are rotting, but we don't do anything for those that are unhoused, right? So if you really want to look at a wealth of a nation, we actually need to change the index by which we are measuring that wealth, because America is the greediest nation. It is not the wealthiest nation, because the fact that we have people in this country needing to find food on a map as if this is some type of fucking scavenger hunt is absolutely disgusting. It is sickening. And this is the country that Donald Trump created, because these food lines, they existed when we were in a global health pandemic. This is a pandemic of Donald Trump's making.
Mad Max Fury Road. A friend of mine said that in the first Trump administration. He goes, that's what America's going to be like. Fury Road or Furiosa, if you've seen those movies. Everyone's just scavenging, trying to survive as the rich get richer and the powerful get more powerful. And speaking about, that was me, Jules. I had to set up a GoFundMe for my kid's cancer. So the only way we got out of debt, whatever little money we had, we used, and then we did a GoFundMe. And that was the only way we stayed out of $100,000 worth of massive healthcare debt. And my wife has healthcare insurance through her work. And my daughter thankfully got a liver transplant. But think about that. I always say that to people. People say, oh yeah, thoughts and prayers, yes. Community, yes. People's kindness, yes. A living donor, yes. Health insurance, yes. And on top of that, we still had to do a GoFundMe. So imagine, Danielle, all the people who don't have the privilege that I just talked about, and they get cancer, which is one of the top 3 killers. Okay, how do you survive? How do you make it? I remember I used to ask this question with my wife when my daughter was going through her cancer. She's 5-year cancer free. She's a 9-year-old diva. Everything is going well, right? But people don't make it. And here we have, like you said, food banks. As we're having food bank lines, right? Like it looks like friggin' the Hunger Games or a dystopian Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
In the United States of America, Donald Trump, the juxtaposition, Donald Trump has private donors getting bribes to build a $300 million ballroom. Kristi Noem is requesting $170 million for 2 private jets so her and her lover, Corey Lewandowski, can fly around the world and cosplay. We're having the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Binance's money laundering billionaire, who should have been in jail for years, got pardoned. Jorge Santos got pardoned. And then Timothy Mellon, billionaire, also connected to the Epstein files, said, I'll give $110 million of my own money to pay the DOD, which is like nothing. But you go ahead and keep the government shut down, Danielle. Here's $110 million. Just don't release the Epstein files. Also, folks, as this has happened, as the rich are getting richer, life expectancy, and we've talked about it before on Democracy-ish, life expectancy in the United States of America has gone down. In other countries, it's gone up. We've lost 3 years. And so when Danielle and I talk about the enduring sins in America are not just white supremacy, but greed, this is what we're talking about. When we try to talk about the oligarchy and their dystopian endgame, right? When we talk about eugenics, when we bring the receipts and talk about Project 2025, when they keep talking about non-productive people, when they talk about replacing us with AI, when there's more private prisons, this is the future that they imagine. Techno-fascism, where the few get everything and all the rest of us are servants who will work until we die and then will be replaced by AI. And you're seeing it in real time, and people say, it can't happen here. And I'm like, wake the F up. It is happening. What more do you need to see? Can you just show that photo of the food bank one more time? The wealthiest country on earth, folks, with the government currently shut down, hundreds of thousands of federal employees not working, not getting paid, and Donald mother effing Trump getting a $400 billion jet from Qatar, and traveling all around Southeast Asia, dancing like an idiot, and making $5 billion for his family off the crypto grift.
I mean, it's so obscene, and I think about the fact that, again, I didn't know that there were food banks in my community that I grew up in on Eastern Long Island until COVID hit. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, where are all of these cars? Like, what are they lined up for? And then I was like, holy shit, there are multiple food banks around here, right? But there had never been lines before. And of course, what was happening during COVID? We're in a global health pandemic. People were losing their jobs, right? Like, this is how we learned that the government could activate when it wanted to, because people got checks, people got support that they needed. But there was still, what we recognize is that it takes one emergency, one disaster, and a majority of Americans are screwed.
Yep.
Right. And so Donald Trump and MAGA knew this, and they said, let's manufacture one. Right. Let's manufacture one. And you are watching it not only happen with the government shutdown, but you're watching it in the private industry. Again, to the point that Waj just said last week on the Danielle Moody show, I did an entire segment on the fact that Amazon is about to fire in the next 2 to 3 years 600,000 workers. 600,000 workers. Amazon has become one of the biggest, outside of Walmart, the biggest employer in the United States. And they are now going to rid themselves of 600,000 human beings and replace them with robots. You see all of these drivers that are circling around your neighborhoods. Soon it will be self-driving cars, robotic driving cars, because guess what they don't have to do? They don't have to take bathroom breaks. They don't have to follow any workers' rights. They don't have to get 401ks. You don't have to do anything for them. And I keep saying to myself, Waj, so you fire all of these people, right? Other companies start to follow suit. Who is buying all of the goods? Well, they're only catering to the top 10%, as you said at the top, because the top 10% is buying 50%, is spending 50% in the economy.
Yep.
So I guess that they'll just carry it while the rest of us turn into Elysium.
And did you all see last week when AWS, Amazon Web Services, went down? I had no idea the extent to how many companies are dependent upon this. Oh, monopoly power. So AWS went down for a day, if you all remember, and all these other organizations and companies went down with it. Roblox went down, and all these other folks, you all might know in the comment section, all these other websites that we all depend on. People are like, holy shit, why is this down? AWS is down. So I'm on another website. No, they all run on AWS. What? So this is what happens when there's a merger between these private companies and the government, as they're gobbling up all the resources, as the government being shut down. Guess what's going to happen? We talked about the democracy-ish a year ago. They're outsourcing it to the private sector. Money, 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 money. Oh, we'll do it. Let's kill USPS. Let's privatize it. We'll do it. Let's kill the weather service that people depend on for life. We'll do it. You'll just have to pay for it. Private prisons. Yes, yes, yes. More detention centers. Yes. AWS. Yes. Apple. Yes. Facebook. Yes. Palantir. Let's build a surveillance state. Me, 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 me. Let's help ICE, right? All the broligarchy is drinking all of our milkshake, monopolies, controlling everything. And Howard Lutnick, billionaire, who, by the way, if you saw in one of the private donors to Donald Trump's ballroom, did you notice one of the names was the Lutnicks, who also happens to be a Trump appointee, Secretary of Commerce? He openly said it a couple months ago, when they were talking about the economy being bad. He goes, "Oh, don't worry. Eventually, we're going to just replace them with AI workers." We played the clip on democracyish. This is the end game. And, Danielle, it's really interesting. It's really interesting seeing your parents' generation get more radical. Like my parents are like now talking like radical lefties. My dad's like, there should be no billionaires. I really hope they sleep with one eye open. I'm like, Dad, don't say this out loud. He goes, I don't care. I want them to live in fear. They're the worst people. That's the only time this will change, is if these billionaires realize that the majority won't take it anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, these are my parents. My mom was like, can't Democrats have spine and fight? This country is going to hell. We need no more billionaires. So if that's my parents, imagine what everyone else is going to say in about 6 months, Daniel.
I mean, look, and here, right, here's again more proof, right? So CNN's Daniel Dale goes on and rips apart the lie that Donald Trump, for whatever fucking reason, because he's never been inside of a grocery store.
Groceries, they're coming back. Groceries.
What a traditional word. How beautiful. Isn't it such a gorgeous word? This fucking idiot claims that grocery store prices are going down as if we all don't go to the grocery store every week.
Report out today shows that inflation is ticking up. So why is the president saying the opposite?
Grocery prices are way down. Groceries are down. Now, as you know, groceries are down. We've gotten prices way down for groceries.
For a deeper dive on this, let's turn to CNN's Daniel Dale. So, Daniel, what are the facts here?
The fact is that these claims are just not true. It wasn't true when President Trump claimed earlier this year that grocery prices were down. It's not true now. And we know that because of the new Consumer Price Index report released this morning, which showed that from August to September, grocery prices increased again by 0.3%. That followed a 0.6% increase from July to August, which was the biggest jump in 3 years. They're also up 2.7% from last September, and about half of that increase, about 1.4% in total, has happened since January, the month President Trump returned to office. Now, if you talk to if you talk to food economists, as I did, they'll tell you that there are all sorts of reasons why grocery prices might bounce around unrelated to who the president is. But they'll also tell you that it very much appears that two of this president's signature policies, specifically a crackdown on undocumented immigrants who make up a large percentage of the farm workforce, and significant tariffs on imported goods, have at least contributed to the increases that Americans are seeing in the grocery aisle.
I mean, it's not rocket science. You detain, deport, kidnap an entire class of workers whose primary job is literally harvesting the produce that then we go to the grocery store to go get. They've literally had ICE raids on farm workers while they are working, which means that what? One, those people are disappeared, and two, the produce that they were picking stays on the fucking vines, in the bush, what have you, to rot. And then we have to turn around and import in the things that we actually need. And then Donald Trump slaps a tariff on that. So he has fucked us two ways in a matter of months. That has made everything more expensive because he said, oh, I'm just going to get rid of the criminals. And yet I'm arresting you at court and I'm arresting you at your job.
And also, folks, let's be honest about it. He is a manifestation of a Republican ideology that was expressed by Mitt Romney back in 2012. Mitt Romney, right? Remember the famous clip that David Corn got for Mother Jones that really hurt his candidacy, where he just referred to the 45% of Americans as like moochers, right? He goes, oh, they're always going to be that way. And they ideologically think the rest of us are exactly that. Moochers, losers, people who are lazy, people who would take a loan to buy another iPhone. We don't deserve good things. This is how they view nearly half of America. Someone said very Anne Rindish. Absolutely. Individualism.
Oh, they love her.
Individualism. They love her.
They
Total
love
freak,
her.
by the way. Who, by the way, Anne Rind, by the way, a person who was about individualism. Yeah, got government help. So much for that. All projection all the time. So they say that if God loves you, God will give you wealth. And if God does not give you wealth, it's a sign that you need to be more religious, more godly. God does not favor you, and you need to work harder. And they just to look at their language that they're openly using on Twitter, referring to fellow Americans, stop being lazy, stop being a grifter, work harder. Now they have lowered the age of children. We're now regressing back to the days when we didn't have labor laws, right? When kids were ages 10, 11, 12. Check it out. Check out the photos of children with soot on their faces. These little sweet babies and kids who used to go work and die in factories, right? That was America. They're like, oh, you got little hands? Those hands can be used for capitalism. So now in these red states, I'm not making this up, folks, they've lowered the age for children to go and work in the factory. And these rich mother effers with kids in elite private schools with lily soft hands are like, that's the way when we were growing up, you know, we used to work hard. I'm like, no, you didn't. So they'll send their kids to private schools and they'll go on vacation in Cancun as their state is freezing to death. But our kids, because God did not favor us, well, our kids, we are the ones chosen to be serfs, the peasants. And if you think, folks, you think you're watching us right now, thank you for tuning in. No, why? That's crazy. Look at the evidence of your eyes and trust the evidence of your ears, Danielle. Just listen to the way they talk about us.
Oh, well, here. So over the weekend, I can't stand him. Besant, what is his name?
Scott Besson, chickens for Colonel
Besant.
Sanders,
Right.
a gay for Trump.
He goes on Meet the Press and, is asked basic questions about the fact that you said Trump was going to do right by the economy. He was going to do right by us, and it doesn't seem like that is happening. Listen to this man's response.
By the fourth quarter, we're going to see a substantial acceleration.
Okay, well, we'll have you back definitely to check back in with you then. But let me drill down a little bit more on these numbers, Mr. Secretary. The president said that these tariffs are going to spark a manufacturing renaissance, he called it. But since he announced them in April, the U.S. has actually lost 42,000 manufacturing jobs. Are these numbers proof that the tariffs are failing to produce the manufacturing jobs that President Trump promised?
Again, Kristen, it's been a couple of months, and with the manufacturing sector, as you know, we can't snap our fingers and have factories built.
That was last month, and it's gone worse this month, Danielle.
I just, you listen to these people and they just lie with such abandon. Right?
Shameless.
Like
Shameless.
and like you constantly say, oh, it's like, don't listen to the evidence of your ears and your eyes. Just listen to the bullshit coming out of my mouth. And it's like Donald Trump tells you grocery prices are down. Grocery prices are down. It's just like we are living inside of the real don't look up. Right? Like they're like, oh, just go into the grocery store and close your eyes and just put your food in the cart and then you scan it. And even though the receipt says that it's higher, I'm telling you it's lower. Who are you going to believe, me or the receipt? Right? Like you're seeing, oh, Kristen Welker's like, well, America's lost 42,000 jobs since the last time that you claimed that we were going to get more jobs. And he's like, just wait until the fourth quarter. Okay, so I'm going to wait until the end of Donald Trump's first year. We are in the fourth fucking quarter, by the way, right? This, again, that interview was a month ago, but we're in the fourth quarter now. What looks like it has changed? And I mean by change for the better, nothing, because everything has changed, but changed for the absolute and total worst. Again, Donald Trump said back on the campaign trail, I will save Michigan auto jobs. This was in his first term. Did Donald Trump save Michigan auto jobs? No, he lost more of them, right? So every time that they say that there is going to be some type of renaissance, they say to you, and again, I think it was Waj, like an overwhelming amount of farmers voted for Donald Trump. And now he sent their money to Argentina so that he could get another dictator back in office, which he successfully did over the weekend. And Scott Bessent, who's worth $500 million, says that he knows exactly how these farmers who are committing suicide and foreclosing on generational farms feel. He feels their pain.
He doesn't feel shit. They don't care. They don't care, folks. They've given $40 billion worth of a bailout, that's our taxpayer money, to Argentina, where you have Trump like Milei, a Trump cuck, whose economic policies are so disastrous that the people are turning on him. I don't know if you saw that video where he went and like, hey, look at me, and people just started coming after him, throwing tomatoes. You had to rush back into the car. $40 billion for a bailout to Argentina, $300 million for a ballroom, money for endless wars. But we can't keep the government open, and we're going to get $1 billion a cut for Medicaid in 2026 to pay for permanent tax cuts for the 1%. And talking about keeping the dumb, sick, angry population in check so they don't rebel, $170 billion went to ICE. Now, ICE has 10,000 agents, and guess what, folks? I always try to remind people this because everyone talks about the $1 trillion cuts to Medicaid to pay for the billionaire tax cuts. Also $170 billion to ICE, which now has the 16th largest military in the world, and more private prisons and detention centers. Danielle, what more do people need to see?
I don't know, because when Donald Trump was standing before the world, he said America is respected again, like it has never been respected before. Interesting. Interesting. Because if anybody was watching the World Series over the weekend, then you saw exactly what Canada thinks of us in the ad that they were running during the World Series, which was about how Donald Trump's tariffs have fucked over the country and will continue to do so. But let's take a listen to the PM and what he says.
All right, good morning. Look, for months, we have stressed the importance of distinguishing things we can control and things we can't control. We can't control the trade policy of the United States. We recognize that that policy has fundamentally changed from the policy in the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s. And it's a situation where the United States has tariffs against every one of their trading partners to different degrees. And it's in that context that our officials, my colleagues, have been working with their American colleagues on detailed, constructive negotiations, discussions on specific transactions, specific sectors, steel, aluminum, and energy. And a lot of progress has been made. And we stand ready to pick up on that progress and build on that progress when the Americans are ready to have those discussions, because it will be for the benefit of workers in the United States, workers in Canada, and families in both of our countries. Now, what we can control, absolutely, is how we build here at home. And that's the focus of Budget 2025, generational investment here in Canada. And what we can also control, or at least heavily influence, is developing new partnerships and opportunities, including with the economic giants of Asia, which is the focus of this trip.
Well, congrats, dumbasses who voted for Trump. Congrats. I don't know what else to say. Y'all are dumbasses. Danielle and I tried our best. All these white farmers, do you feel better? All these Trump voters in Rust Belt cities who hate the woke and the DEI, do you feel better? All the people who want to make America white again and great again, do you feel better? Do you feel better, Chet? Do you feel better, the angry white man for some strange reason who's really angry because he can't say the N-word even though he lives in the suburbs and drives a Tesla? Are you feeling better? Oh, Latinos and rich Asians and South Asians and Muslims and a few black folks who thought, oh, I'm the good one. I golf with Chet. Everything will be fine. Do you feel better? We told you so. And now we're all in it. And in less than a year, folks, he has so effed up the United States of America, as he has spent his entire 79 years on Earth effing up everything. Donald Trump squanders and effs up everything. I always want to remind people,
he touches.
This man was born not with just a silver spoon, a silver and golden spoon in his mouth. His daddy gave him over 4. Imagine being born, Danielle. If I had $4 million, no one would ever hear from me again. I would retire. Okay. This guy was born with $400 million, squandered it. This man at one time, based on what we know, lost more money than any other American on earth, right? When it came to his tax returns, right? This guy got bailed out through Deutsche Bank and most likely Russia and other countries who decided to, essentially capture him, probably due to his financial idiocy. This is a man who's bankrupted multiple casinos, businesses. This is a man who has had to settle because he defrauded people through his charity. He defrauded people through his university, and through the Trump organization. Letitia James got him, and now I think it's like it went back to what? Now he used to own like nearly $500 million. Now it's like above $300 million. And during his first presidency, he effed up during a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. So much so that over 1 million Americans eventually died, more so than any other country. He completely effed up the economy, and this dumbass racist country said, more, please. And then, Danielle, tell him about this.
I mean, we talked about this last week, but this is the I told you so show. So the US passport has fallen out of the top 10 most powerful passports globally for the first time in 20 years. The American passport is now in the 12th spot, tied with Malaysia. A decade ago, the US passport topped the index. Now, what does that mean? It means that the United States, for those that hold passports, right, you don't have visa issues. You don't have problems like you don't have to get a visa to go into X country. You don't have to pay to get into X country because you are from the United States. Warranted or not, that is the privilege that the United States, those that are passport holders, have had. Now, you've seen over the last couple of years, the last several years, one, you now need visas to go into the UK and into France. There are other places in Europe that are now requiring you to get a visa in order to go there, even if you're just going on holiday for a short visit. And things will get worse because I'll just add this. We have a health secretary who doesn't believe in health, who doesn't believe in science, who doesn't believe in facts, who doesn't believe in vaccinations, and disease is spreading wildly in America. And eventually, right, sooner rather than later, a lot of countries are going to say, you know what? I don't want your diseased dumbasses here. And so America is not going to be allowed to go to this place or that place. One, because we don't have any money to spend anymore. It used to be come, visit us, spend money. We don't have any money to spend. And now we are filled with diseases. So if you're a industrialized, developed nation, you're saying, yeah, nah, thanks. So
Or prove that you're vaccinated, you freaks, because measles is now skyrocketing. And the CDC director, who was appointed by RFK and Republicans, Dr. Monarez, if I remember correctly, and she quit because their death march was too much for her. She said before she left that she worries that polio is going to come back. Polio. The rest of the world isn't that stupid. They realize polio used to kill people. So now we're going to have a bunch of sick, diseased, unvaccinated, dumbass Americans who don't have an education, who are desperate to get out of America, and all these other countries like, nah, that's good. That's good. You stay right there. We still enjoy your movies, and we like Taylor Swift. That's about it. But you stay there. And now, folks, in addition to the passport not being used, as Danielle said, people aren't coming here. Foreigners aren't coming. That's not a good sign. A massive dip in foreign students coming here. Massive dip in when it comes to tourism. We're set to lose, Danielle, about $49 billion because people are like, nah, fam, that's good. I'll just go to Canada instead. I'll try Mexico. I'll go to Europe. If you are not wanted, if people see a shithole country that is straight up kidnapping brown and black people, if people see the leader of the country and Stephen Miller and young Republican leaders in their 30s referring to brown and black people and visitors as invaders, if they see them praising Hitler, why would you want to visit that country, Daniel?
I mean, I have no idea. But once again, Donald Trump said we've more respected than ever. And just take a look. Because Donald Trump is slated to go to South Korea, and they had a little protest over there. And by little, I mean it was hundreds of people who were showing signs that said "No Trump," and and they don't want him. They don't want. I mean, everywhere that Donald Trump has gone this year and visited, he has been met with thousands of protesters, right? So you're talking, he's standing in front of the UN like a fucking idiot saying, oh, America is more respected now than we've ever been. And I'm like, you can't touch down on a fucking foreign soil without being met with thousands of protesters. And while our papers don't show it here, do you know that they actually show reality everywhere else?
And also, folks, remember, South Korea invested billions of dollars in the South, in Georgia, with the Hyundai plant. And remember, Danielle, what this white nationalist government did to
Yep.
the South Korean workers who are here to make America great again by investing money in the Hyundai plant, which would give jobs.
Mhm.
They did a raid, and South Korea has not forgotten.
Yeah, and let's just take a look at the list that Bernie Sanders put together for us. Trump's America First policy, okay? Because everything has always been about America First. $40 billion bailout for Argentina, $12 billion in weapons for Netanyahu, threatening war with Venezuela, awarding an Air Force facility in Idaho to Qatar, $0 to lower your premiums, zero to prevent 15 million Americans from losing their health care, and zero money for SNAP that expires on November 1st. And the Department of Agriculture put out a fucking message that said the well is dry. And they think that that shit is funny, as millions of Americans, including children, are about to go fucking hungry. Also that Elon Musk and Zuckerberg can eat the fucking most. I'm telling you, when they say eat the rich, the shit doesn't come from nowhere. Okay? It doesn't come from nowhere. And just so folks now, and I appreciate this so much, Waj, because I did not know.
Yep.
I missed it. 9 months before the 2024 election, Trump said he wanted Venezuela to collapse so he can take them over for oil. But everyone basically let it slide. And now in his second administration, he's sending warships and fighter ships to Venezuela.
Buying oil from Venezuela. When I left, Venezuela was ready to collapse. We would have taken it over. We would have gotten all that oil. It would have been right next door.
So here's the thing, right? Like, all of this has been a plan. All of this is part of a larger plan.
Daniel, can I just say one more thing?
Please.
It's also in Project 2025.
Yep.
It was right there. They want to topple Maduro. They want to replace it with a puppet regime, which is why you're seeing Machado, who won the Nobel Prize, saying a lot of like straight up like weird sycophantic stuff about Donald Trump, knowing it's all transactional. She knows how to play Donald Trump. She wants the removal of Maduro, right? She wants her to be installed, a democracy, but a friendly democratic regime to the oligarchy. Venezuela has one of the largest oil reserves. They want these resources, and they want someone who is amenable to them. And by them, I mean Donald Trump and the oligarchy friends. And right now, this America First president, who was bragging about getting the Nobel Peace Prize, what's happening in Venezuela, folks? We've been trying to talk about it for a month.
Well, he's going to war. And Lindsey Graham, who's like the world's biggest sycophant, that's the prize that he would win, predicts Trump's war on narco terrorists, which, by the way, he's killed no terrorists. He's actually just continued to kill fishermen because there's no proof. There's no due process. So I don't even know what the fuck Lindsey Graham is saying, but Lindsey Graham doesn't know what the fuck he's saying. Yeah, folks, this is, again, Donald Trump, remember, he said, I'm going to end the war in Russia and Ukraine. Oh, tell them to call me. And where are we now? The war has persisted. There has been no stopping. And he's walked out of meetings and and cursed out Zelensky on multiple occasions. So,
Zelensky, just let it go. Ukraine, you just have to accept the fact that Russia, let it occupy a few things, okay? Okay, just let it occupy it. And Ukraine's like, no. And they're like, okay, fine. Let me just promote some Russian talking points. That's what I'm gonna do. Also, remember another one, Israel-Palestine. Remember, as soon as he'd be elected, in addition to the war in Ukraine ending, which it hasn't. Remember, there'd be peace in the Middle East. And remember, what was it, just 2 weeks ago, the same week that was announced the Nobel Peace Prize, Donald Trump and the sycophantic media and all these reeks and all of our establishment corporate peers, you have to give Donald Trump credit. Come on now. And you and I said, no, I know how this is going to play out. Just give it a week. Less than a week later, Israel does what? Shockingly, blows up the non-existent ceasefire, the non-existent peace deal, and voila, now we're back to the ongoing genocidal campaign. So more chaos there, and there's going to be continued chaos because, of course, Donald Trump already released the AI video showing his endgame, Riviera on the Middle East, baby. We're going to kill the Palestinians, and on their bones, and on the ghosts, we're going to build a Riviera on the Middle East, and him and Jared Kushner and all their rich friends are going to make money. So that war, that genocide is still raging. Ukraine still happening. Now we're going to go to war with Venezuela, folks. It is happening. They're now just every day blowing up ships without any evidence. Straight up, as Danielle said, our government is murdering people. And I want to connect the war at Venezuela to the war at home, because we bring receipts. We have played this clip. We don't have it right now. A couple of weeks ago, Pam Bondi, his Luca Brasi, said, what we're doing to these terrorists in Venezuela, we're going to be doing to the terrorists in America. They're calling us all terrorists, saying we're anti-fascists, made up some shit. What are they doing to the terrorists in Venezuela, Danielle, that they're going to be doing to the rest of us?
Oh, without due process, murdering them. So, I mean, and yes, if she is very clear, we are all anti-fascist. We don't want a fascist regime. We don't want authoritarian government. We want democracy that works for all people. And so regardless of the lies that they spew, the upside down world that they create, like, you can't alter everyone's reality. And tell us that the gas prices and the grocery prices are all down, and tell us that America is thriving when it's clearly not. Tell us that all is going well and the world respects us when they clearly think we're fucking dumb. Like, tell us, and then, and just a reminder, again, Donald Trump, he is the one who made Jeffrey Epstein part of our lexicon. He is the one that brought Jeffrey Epstein up every single time that he had a microphone in his goddamn face. And here he is, just again, because this is the I told you so show.
Declassify the 9/11 files.
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would.
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others. Certainly about the way he died. It'd be interesting to find out what happened there, because that was a weird situation and the cameras didn't happen to be working, et cetera, et cetera.
He was president.
I'd go a long way toward that one. The other stuff I would definitely do the January 6th.
So just so we know, Donald Trump, he even in that interview flip-flop back and forth. Yeah, I think I would, but then I don't want to really disrupt people's lives. But then I think I would, because I think it's really interesting how he died. Yeah, it's interesting how he died 4 days after Bill Barr, your attorney general, visited him in prison, and while you were president of the United States and he was in federal custody, that then he would die in an interesting fashion. Yeah, I think.
And the CBS News, before the complete hostile takeover and the destruction of it as a legitimate news source, thanks to Barry Weiss and David Ellison, released just 2 weeks ago those photos, right, that showed how there was a complete mismanagement of the crime scene. Of course. And people, the two guards were not interviewed for 2 years, and the evidence markers were misplaced. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but what I've seen now with the Epstein scandal, I think this is the biggest cover-up in modern history. Donald Trump was told by Pam Bondi he's in the files in May. Since then, they've lied. No one is talking about why Ghislaine Maxwell is friggin' in a minimum security camp getting special treatment. Who in the Bureau of Prisons waived her sex offender status that gave her the sweetheart deal? Why less than a week after she met Todd Blanche did she get the sweetheart deal that allowed her to move? Michael Wolff and anyone else with common sense, I think, is correct in assuming she has the goods on him. And so if friggin' a CZ of Binance is getting a pardon and George Santos is getting a pardon, I'm telling you, folks, she's going to get a pardon. She ain't going to stay. She's not going to stay in jail for life. And when asked about pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell recently, he didn't say no. He also didn't say no about using the Insurrection Act. So he lies, most likely, allegedly, he raped girls with Epstein. They used to chase models ages 14 to 19. There's Michael Wolff. Michael Wolff now is countersuing Melania Trump, and he said the fear is that Ghislaine Maxwell can tie Trump to the details of what Trump and Epstein, and Epstein talking to Michael Wolff. Michael Wolff has alleged he has hours upon hours of recorded conversations with Jeffrey Epstein. He released one of them in which Epstein said that he was Donald Trump's closest friend for a decade. Trump and Epstein called it the Pussy Committee.
I'm gonna play the clip. I'm gonna play the clip because I'm just like, just listen.
This is your president. This is your king, MAGA.
Now, this is a key issue right now in the way the White House is looking at the Epstein scandal. The fear is that Ghislaine Maxwell can tie Donald Trump to the details of what Trump and Epstein called the Pussy Committee. The Pussy Committee consisted of Trump and Epstein in their efforts to get girls for Prince Andrew.
This is your king. This is the president of the United States of America. I just want people to sit with it for a second, folks, because I don't think we do, and I don't want to normalize it. I know we're running out of time, but Donald Trump is a convicted criminal. Donald Trump has never faced any accountability for inciting a violent insurrection that we saw with our eyes and we heard with our ears. Donald Trump stole classified information from the United States government and then lied to the FBI about it. Donald Trump, because we have the audio, literally tried to strong arm the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, to find him the exact number of votes that would give him the state of Georgia. Donald Trump has committed fraud against his own home state. Who runs a charity to commit fraud? Donald Trump. Who creates a sham university to commit fraud? Donald Trump. We have him on tape bragging about grabbing women by the pee. We know he partied with Epstein. There's video of him partying with Epstein. Epstein talked about how he was Trump's closest friend. Allegedly, the first time he had sex with Melania was on the Lolita Express. That's the name of Epstein's private jet, Lolita Express. This is a man who has credible accusations, nearly 24, of sexual assault. This is a man who's been liable for sexually assaulting E. Jean Carroll and defaming her. And this is the man that 30% of the country says, yep, he's the guy to make America great again. He is the manifestation of all of America's sins. I know people don't like hearing this. America has a lot of sins. We have never confronted our cruelty. We have never confronted our imperialism. We have never confronted our greed, our cruel, incessant greed. We have never confronted the religion of white supremacy that has contaminated and perverted so many people and inspired their worst demons to come out. And the reason why we don't do it, it would force us to confront ourselves, Danielle, our own history, our own family members. Uncle Chet, who loves the N-word, but is so nice with the cousins. Our grandfather, who loves the grandkids and goes to church, but hates desegregation. Our sweet, nice mom named Karen, who goes to the PTA, but will do anything and everything to make sure her street is white. The people in your family, the people in my family, the ones who think they're the well-off Browns, who can ascend to whiteness. We refuse to confront it, and this is what we have. He is America. I know people hate admitting it. He's not an aberration. He is America. He is part and parcel of America. And sorry for my rant. I just felt like saying that.
I mean, it's all facts. It's not a rant. It is the truth. And the fact is, folks, like I gotta say, Waj, I hand it to you for designing this show in the way that you did for us to go through all of the receipts. Because I mean, you know, the fact is, Donald Trump never lied about who he was. He's consistent. He's consistent with that. And America said, much in the way that Steve Bannon said it last week, he's an imperfect tool, but we got to finish the job. And that job is white nationalism. That job is authoritarian control of the country, right? That job they can only see fit finishing with Donald Trump, which is why now Donald Trump out loud is talking about 2028, and fucking mainstream corporate media is running polls with him and Newsom as if Donald Trump running in 2028 isn't a violation of the Constitution. So this is the way that mainstream corporate media goes to normalize things that are absolutely batshit insane and are unconstitutional. But that is what they do. Folks,
Can we end on a good news? Danielle, I wanted to ask you this.
Please.
I tweeted something yesterday. So we're going to say something negative, but we'll end it on a positive. The type of rampant, ugly, anti-Muslim bigotry you all are seeing against Zoran Mamdani. Folks, this is what Muslims and those who look Muslimy have had to endure for 24 years in America. I've been writing about it. I've been talking about it. I've been warning about it. But it was normalized because war on terror. And liberals, pieces of shit like Bill Maher, have been on it. And people of color have been telling liberals, these folks are racist. And they said, now, brown cow, nobody's perfect. Stop being so politically correct, right? They loved their Bill Maher 10 years ago, Danielle. And now Bill Maher has openly said that he's going to support Andrew Cuomo, although he got a little too handsy. But that's okay. That's what Italians do. And of course, Bill Maher joined in with Andrew Cuomo and all the Islamophobes in casually dehumanizing Zoran Mamdani as a terrorist. Why? Because he's Muslim. So naturally, he's Hamas. Naturally, the Mamdani plane is crashing into the 9/11 towers. I don't know if you've seen this open, shameless Islamophobia in the past week as they're getting super desperate, openly joking and laughing about this stuff. But all the world's worst people are losing their brains. Their mind is like, it's melting from their ears, Danielle, because they know what's happening. We're about to elect the first Muslim American mayor of the greatest city in the world, New York City. And I just want to say that their tears are going to be sugar for my chai. You're a New Yorker. Your take on this?
Yeah, I will say this. Last night, Zoran Mamdani, AOC, and Bernie Sanders were at Forest Hills Stadium in Queens. That had about 10,000 people packed into there for their free talk and campaign rally. This city is excited to vote for Zoran Mamdani, and the more that the billionaire class comes out and shows their entire ass and says that they are backing Cuomo, it tells us out loud who is for the people and who is not. In the 11th hour, Hakeem Jeffries decided to endorse Zoran Mamdani, and I am to Hakeem Jeffries, keep your fucking cowardly bullshit to yourself, because you know who's going to be out next? You are going to be out next, along with Schumer, right? Because y'all have been showing us exactly who you've been. This man has been showing the city what it can be if it has a mayor that actually gives a shit about the people that make this city run. I don't care that he's young. I don't care that he's inexperienced. I care that he has excited the city. And I hope that when he wins, which he will, I hope that people decide to flood into working for the New York City government to take down the corruption that has been a part of New York City government and rebuild it in a way that is centralized for the people. And I hope that this is a shot across the bow to the fucking billionaire class that says, we're coming for you, right? You can only rest but so long. You can only sit on top for but so long, because the phrases eat the rich, come from somewhere. And we all will be coming for you soon enough, because you have shown that you don't want democracy, you want oligarchy. And we now see the blueprint of what democracy looks like moving forward. And it ain't Hakeem Jeffries, it ain't fucking Schumer, it ain't Nancy Pelosi. It is the Zoran Mandanis, the AOCs, and the rest that actually believe in collective care and what is possible. And if you want to call us radical for believing that we should care for all people, then my God, I will wear it as a badge of honor.
Amen. It's coming. It's coming, folks. It's a matter of time. I will say this: throughout human history, anytime there is obscene income inequality, regardless of where you are, there has been an uptick in a type of radical response. Unfortunately, sometimes that takes the form of violence. Other times it takes the form of revolution and resistance and regime change, right? I don't think, Danielle, the American public will sit there and take it forever. I
No.
don't. The question is, when will people be satiated, if you will, by their appetite for racism? When will they stop eating racism and instead choose to eat food? And how long will racism sustain them? For a while, it's been a while now. They're still eating their racism, but even racists need to eat food, Danielle. So let's see. But you know what? I can't wait for them. We have the majority, and the majority is going to move and organize and mobilize and march. And I do think, and I will say, being a brown-skinned man, a bearded man, a son of immigrants, a Muslim, much like Zoran, to see a man like him, inshallah, become the mayor of New York, it's just like with Obama. I don't adulate politicians, Danielle. I don't hero worship them. Obama behaved exactly like I thought he would, like a center leftist politician. But there's still something nonetheless very inspiring that in this white supremacist country, a guy like that and a guy like Mamdani can rise above and be chosen by the people to lead. So that's why I am rooting for this guy. And I really hope his message of affordability, not throwing the vulnerable under the weak, not supporting a genocide, not supporting the oligarchy, I really hope it resonates. And I hope the people keep him, lift him up, because I know for a fact the entirety of the establishment, and I'm talking about liberals and Democrats too, are committed to destroying this man.
Yeah, just like Mitch McConnell was committed to making Barack Obama a one-term president.
And he failed.
And he failed. I will say this, folks, just as we close out today. It is important to find those mustard seeds of hope. It is important to find them. It is important to raise up and manifest the glimmers that we need in the darkness that give us a bit of encouragement. And again, I too am like Waj. I don't put all of my hopes into any politician, but I do put my hopes into the people, right? And what history shows us is that fascism, authoritarianism, dictators always fall. They always do. It is whether it's going to be on the long end or on the short end, but they always fall. And I'm telling you, the way that Donald Trump and this regime are moving, the fact that a Zoran Mamdani is possible in this moment. Months ago, he was trailing way down, like in the negatives. And the worst,
Danielle, I interviewed him when he was a distant number 2.
Yeah. And the worse that Donald Trump has been for this country, the more excited people have gotten for Mamdani. That is how the pendulum swings. So we close out today, dear friends, on Democracy-ish, as always, with shouting out our super stickers and our super thanks. Folks, this is independent media. We do not take a dime from corporations. Everything that we do is people powered. So thank you, Barb. Thank you, Nicholas. Thank you, Susan, for your moderation as well as your generosity. Janice, Janine, Jimmy, appreciate you. Linda, Julie, Navy, Starch, Susan again, Lee, Starch again, and Snow. Thank you so very much. Each and every single dollar counts and allows us to continue doing the work that we do. I will be back today at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Danielle Moody Show. Waj, where can the people find you today? Thank you, Minimalist.
I'm an idiot. Mike Madrid emailed me and said, hey, you want to go on today? And I said, sure. So I might do that. And then also I might go on with Lev later today, even though I'm kind of like really tired. I should kind of rest and catch up, but it's all right. Folks, this has been Damn Digest and the Left Hook Substack as well. There's about 1,300 people watching on my Substack. There's several people watching on Danielle's Substack. We are terrible capitalists. We have kept everything for free always. If you have a few dollars, please become paid subscribers. If you don't, at least spread the good word. Become a free subscriber. We believe in an informed citizenry to push back against hate, white supremacy, and fascism. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, you're watching on Danielle Moody's YouTube channel. And Danielle, being a fantastic, terrible capitalist, has also kept that for free. So at the very least, what you could do is ring the bell and you will become a free subscriber to Danielle's YouTube channel. And inshallah, you'll get to 40,000. I know this sounds all ridiculous, liking and sharing and subscribing. I know, but this is just how the algorithm works. And the more you just like it and share it and become a subscriber, this is how it works. More and more people watch. So we have about 2,000 people watching on YouTube and Twitter. We've got about 1,300 people watching on my Substack, several hundred people watching on Danielle's. Fantastic for a Monday show. We keep growing. It's purely independent. As Danielle said, no corporate sponsors. We say what we want, how we want, when we want. But that also means we got to work twice as hard. So thank you all for your support. And inshallah, we will be back on Wednesday for afternoon a roundup on Substack Live, where we do a special edition of Democracy-ish at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can catch that on my Substack, The Left Hook, and Danielle's Substack, The Damn Digest.
Appreciate you guys. Be well. And don't be a fascist. Go check Waj out, even though I think Waj should go to bed. I'll see you guys back here at 5 p.m. Eastern. Be well.